So we've woken up to this winter wonderland. There's a car trying to get by. We've got snow on the ground, snow on the main street. We've got snow on our street. All the schools have been canceled. All the school districts that I work for as a sub nurse, they've already contacted me. And I took this time off anyway to paint. But you can't really see any snow. It's still precipitating, but I think it's sleet. It sounds like sleet. It looks wet. So this is going to be an interesting day. It's supposed to snow at least until 4 or 5 o'clock. So this is a great day for painting indoors. Dinner on a snow day is comfort food. So we've got beef stew. Ooh, my thumb's over it. Got beef stew. I'm trying to avoid showing you my dirty dishes. And this ready rice bread, because we just eat the whole thing. We just tear into it like a great big roll. And that's our comfort food dinner tonight. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's pounding, sleeting out there. Like I can hear it like little needles on the side of the house and the windows. So 3 years ago, I was in the middle of a kitchen project when we lost power and had to stay at my mother-in-law's. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully we keep our power. I'm gonna turn around the camera and we'll do the big reveal of what we did so far yesterday. You can't see it, but it's sleeting so bad. I haven't seen a car go by on the main road in I don't know how long. So I'm just so glad to be at home and warm and cozy. And anybody who's essential personnel and you're out there doing your job, going to work, kudos to you. I'm about 15 minutes in, and I've begun to cut in to this wall. Cutting in, I think you can see the contrast here, is where you start painting. If you're going to use a roller brush, you start painting from the edges inward, and that gives you a margin for the roller brush, for the places the roller brush can't reach easily. So I've begun to cut in, and I'm kind of doing it in a random way. I don't really have a plan. So the color's not that far from what the base color used to be, but it's cleaner and fresher. And I already have a paint drip. No, that's a piece. I have a paint drip already on my poor little lamp here. I'll have to try to figure something out there. So we're getting a little more light in here because it's now about 10 o'clock. I've been at this, it's about 15 minutes later, so about 30 minutes since I started. So I'm starting to cut in, or I'm still cutting in. I've already heard the first fire truck go by. It's still sleeting and horrible out there. Just something, and I thought to mention it before, when you're taping, let's see if I can show you here. When you're taping, it's good, of course I don't have one handy. Oh, here's one. Let's see if I can focus that. When you're taping, it's good to leave a little flap so that you can, when you go to unpeel it, you just pick it up, because otherwise you're standing there like this trying to get it off. The other thing I've learned is to always have some powder. Put it in your latex gloves. I try to use the same pair of latex gloves all day. These are actually nitrile, they're not latex. Put a little bit of powder inside because your hands will sweat, and that way you can remove the gloves and put them back in and use the same gloves over and over, because otherwise your hands get sweaty and then they start to smell funny too. So, all right, back to painting. And roughly another 15 minutes later, I'm cutting into this wall. Each time I start cutting into another wall because I just find it so excruciatingly boring. This narrow strip of wall here, the cutting in basically is the painting, and another narrow strip of wall there. We're getting more and more sunlight. It's still snowing. I'm standing on the bed. So I think this over here is gonna be horrible. This window, it's narrow, I have to stand on a chair. I have one of those chairs that it's like a stool. So that's gonna be a pain in the butt, and that's the next thing I'm gonna do. I wanna get the boring and excruciating things out of the way first so I can do the fun part, which is the roller, because I love using the roller brush. The snow continues. You can't really tell with the glare. I hear snow plows. I hope whoever had that fire alarm come out, I hope they're okay. There's a retirement community down the road from me. It's those guys. All right, so at any rate, it's hard to tell because there's not enough contrast, but I've done this space between the ceiling where it drops and the top of the window frame. This is the most complicated room of all of our rooms in the house, and there's nothing special about it. It's just a normal suburban room. I'm doing more cutting in. I'm almost done with the cutting in. There's very little left to do at this point. Then I get to do the fun part, which is the roller paint. Oh yeah, I gotta do that. Okay. I like to film in intervals. It's been roughly another 15 minutes, and it's flakes, like big flaky flakes falling from the sky, and it's actually lightened up. So we've got much better light in the room. And so you can really see the contrast. Not only did the old paint fade, but it actually yellowed a bit. I'm afraid I don't know that much about paint. I just thought it was kind of interesting. This will be the accent wall. I don't know if I can bring this around without getting paint on it. But I want to show this. This was the horrible wall. Look at all the detail. There's just too many things. But I've cut in. This wall is done. The only wall that needs to be done is this one. See, I need to do up top side, and I need to do down below. And the rest of this window. Actually, I have a lot to do. Okay. Cutting in is done. Now I get to do the fun part. The roller paint. It's time for lunch. It's not quite quitting time. After lunch I have to finish that wall, and I have to finish this wall, but we are moving right along. I ate lunch, threw in a load of laundry, texted a couple people. Now it's time to go back to painting. The painting of the non-accent walls is done. It took hours. The wet parts are still pale and blotchy. That will even out. Gave me a heart attack the first time I ever painted a room, and it looked blotchy, and I was like, oh no, I didn't have anyone who had painted before with me. I was all by myself, and I thought, oh no, worst paint job ever. And then it was okay. I'm not even gonna try to get around the tent, around all the tents. You can't really see it, but it looks nice. Just take my word for it. It looks nice. Paint the non-accent walls. Done. All right, I'll check a few more times during the day as it dries, as the light changes, see if there's any bare patches. I don't think there are. Then we can't really do any more painting till the morning. I'm not going to remove the old tape. I could start to tape around the accent wall parts that I can reach. Let's see if there's anything I can reach. Well, let's see. I could tape that baseboard, and I can tape that ceiling, and the ceiling is taped, and the baseboard is taped. Taping is so boring. So I taped around the accent wall, but there's actually nothing more I can do in that room until the morning. What to do, what to do. Spring cleaning in a blizzard with my handy dandy list. Dusting the moldings. We don't actually have moldings. Dusting the moldings and the baseboard. That's something we actually have. Dust and wash light fixtures and lamps. Something like that can go in the dishwasher. I do it all the time. Put it in the top rack. Regular lamps that are plastic or whatever, they just have to be dusted. Dust the ceiling fan. Workday is done, but I am coming back tomorrow.